Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Base Jerusalem. This is the Hebrew Life, and I'm back with another lesson. We're going to call this one Fruits of the Most High. Fruits of the Most High. We are all fruits, true in itself, but we have to get an understanding. Some of us are fruits of the Most High, and some of us are fruits of the devil. You know that old story, the wheat and the tares. Some of us are wheat, which can benefit, we can eat, we can actually benefit from, and the other is tares. Can't benefit from it, and there's no possible way to get anything from it. It only serves one purpose, and that's to destroy. In this lifetime, an old man told me, you're either going to build or you're going to destroy. And when I look around the world today, I see a lot of fruit that are wheat being destroyed by the tares. I see a lot of fruit that is spoiled and is of no benefit to the world. And I see a lot of fruit that is of some good, but it's overshadowed by the bad fruit. If it was a vineyard, most of the fruit would be dead. And that's because this vineyard, called the world right now, doesn't truly wholly believe in the Most High and His Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Without the light, they're in darkness. And where there's no light, how could the fruit grow? We're going to kick this off with Genesis, because that's when we first found out that trees and fruits can be beneficiary. But we learned the Most High gave us a rule on a certain tree, and something happened at the beginning that was going to change the course of history on how everything was handled and how everything existed. Now, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 2, and I'm going to start at verse, we're going to start at verse, I believe, 17. Yes, we're going to start at verse 17. We're going to start at verse 15. And I'm going to read. And the Elohim Yah took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Elohim Yah commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day thou shalt eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. So as we see right here, Adam was given instructions by the Most High to not eat the fruits. He could eat, to eat every fruit that was in the garden, but this fruit in the middle of the garden, in the midst of the garden, the tree of good and evil, he was not to eat of. And he knew that he would surely die. These laws were passed down to Eve after Eve came along. So Adam and Eve both knew not to eat of the tree of good and evil. How could this tree possess the knowledge of good and evil? That's between the tree and the Most High. But we were eating of every tree, but we were, as children, we were not to know evil, only good. Adam was only put there to keep the garden. Remember that. Now let me prove that Eve knew the laws too. So it wasn't nothing misconstrued on the laws of the Most High. They both knew not to eat this tree. And this tree was going to be the cause of death, because the Most High told Adam he should surely die. But that was the first lie Hashatan told. He told Eve she should surely not die. I'm going to go to that. Let's go to chapter 3 and let's read. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, yeah, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So right there, Eve knew not to eat of the fruit in the garden. But let's see what Hashatan told her to beguile her. Let's see what he said. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. There is the first lie that was told to mankind. Ye shall not surely die. But when you look outside and you look around, trees die, animals die, everything die. Everything dies on account of Adam and Eve. That's why the wages of sin is death. Because at the very beginning, the wages of sin was death. They were not living on earth. They were living in the Garden of Eden in heaven. They were sent to the earth as consequences of them eating the tree of knowledge. Now let's keep reading. Because this tree didn't possess life that they ate. The Most High possesses the tree of life. This tree they ate was knowledge of good and evil. And that's exactly what mankind possesses. And we lean more towards the evil side of the knowledge that we have because it seems to be more exciting to the dull mind. Let's read. This is verse 22 of chapter 3 of Genesis. It says, "And the Elohim Yah said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. Now fear he put his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever." See, this is why we were cast to the earth, because the Most High feared that we would eat from the tree and live forever, eat from the tree of life. So let's see what he did. Therefore, the Elohim Yah sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. And let's keep reading. So he drove out let's jump up to verse 21, because I meant to jump up to verse 21. Let you know that we were in the spirit at first. And unto Adam also and to his wife did the Elohim Yah make coats of skin and clothed them. Boom. Right there is the first time we had the skin that we're in. We weren't in our skin in the Garden of Eden in heaven. As it is on earth, as it is in heaven. He sent us to the Garden of Eden on the ground which he took us, and he gave us skins. That was the first sacrifice right there. Him giving us the skins and us living on earth physically. Now, people need to understand this skin, this fruit, we're all fruit. Now, every fruit has a skin, just like a banana. It has a skin, it's all beautiful and green and yellow, and it's perfect. But eventually, if it sits there, it's going to turn brown. It's going to start to spot. It's going to turn black, and it's not going to be as attractive and as appeasing. It's going to get mushy. It's going to be uneatable. And this is what happens to the flesh, because it shall die. Everything is going to die. Every breath we take, we're getting a step closer to death. So why not serve the Elohim while you're living? We're not here forever. We're not here to be here forever. My problem, and what I want to elaborate with on this video, is the trick of the devil, where he gets people to try to live forever. He gets people to do things to hold on to their age. He gets people to do things to hold on to their looks. And this is all vanity, because we are all decaying just as fruit is. Age is going to show eventually. You cannot hide it. We all die, and we're real Hebrews. We're trying to pass over to that next life. When we become a Hebrew, you already die. You have to die and forget what the world says and how the world lives, and die and live and be one with the Most High and His Son Hamashiach in Israel. This is the rebirth in life. You have to die before the Most High can take in His life. So we're not worried about who can kill the flesh. We're worried about who can kill the spirit. We're not worried about the first death. We're worried about the second death. That's what's more important, and that's judgment. And I hate to be in front of the Most High knowing I done lived all these years in the flesh, and I refuse to find Him. That would be my ticket to the lake. All of these years I lived in the flesh, I didn't search for the spirit. That would be my sin. Now, let me read. Let me read, and I want to read Joel 1 and 12 to elaborate on this dry fruits thing. Because we're all fruits and we're going to dry, but when you're a fruit of the Most High, we're going to live forever. We're trees in the Most High. We have to bear fruit. We have to bring more and more people into Israel. That's what the Most High made us a tree to bear fruit for. Now, we all know no good tree could bear good fruit. We know this. Let's go to that. Actually, let's go to that. We're going to come back to Joel. Let's go to that. Matthew 7:15, I believe. Matthew 7. Because no bad tree is going to bring good fruit. And no good tree is going to bring being bad fruit. So, let's read. This is Matthew 7 and 17. I'm going to start at verse 16. And it says, Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bring forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth forth not good fruit is hewed down and cast into the fire. Boom, right there. If you're not out here producing, trying to live for the Most High, trying to bring people to His word, you are a bad fruit. You don't notice it, but you're slowly decaying, and you're going to be hewed down. You're the terror. You're not producing, and that's what a lot of these brothers and sisters are doing out here. They're not producing, and if you do produce, they do have people who could vouch for them, people who hung out with them. They're no better than them. They said birds and feathers flock together. So it's like that. If I'm a robber and he's a killer, and I'm a lawyer or a teacher, school teacher, I have no business hanging out with the robber and the murderer. Birds and feathers flock together. They probably need to be together. They can get some work done together. But me being a man of the Most High, hanging with murderers or coke dealers and all these evil things, wicked things in the earth don't match. Oil and water doesn't mix. I'm a wheat and they're a tare. You can't tell the difference between us, but as time go by, you're going to see, well, man, he's not good. And I think I want to go this way with this guy because this guy knows what he's talking about. But if you don't make that decision, it's going to be too late. Now, let's prove that this fruit thing. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32. I'm going to do a part 2 to this because this is a great subject. And I could go on and on about this. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 right fast. 32 and 9. This fruit thing is crazy because we're all fruit. We need to understand this. We're all living and dying just like the trees, just like the earth. But when we die, just like science say, everything that die benefits the earth. We must die and benefit the earth spiritually, not physically. I don't just want to be put in the ground and the worms and the bugs benefit off of me, and that's how I benefit to the earth. No, I want to benefit the earth spiritually. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and 9, and I'm going to read. For the Lord's portion and his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in the desert land and the waste howling wilderness. He led him about and he instructed him, and he kept him as the apple of his eye. Right there. We are the apple of the Most High's eye. That's fruit. As I've been talking about this whole video. We are the apple of the Most High's eye. He chose who he wanted to be his fruit in this world. He chose it. It's Israel, which is Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. Every seed that comes, and he is that seed. He is that remnant. Fruit. We're going to dive into this fruit thing a little more in the next video. Shalom, brothers and sisters.